Oh, make sure you guys can hear me. We've had some audio issues the last couple times. I think we're good. We are live again with a update on Antoine Griezmann. Some news had came out today. Um, Things are starting to really ramp up. Just give me one sec. Hair's looking a little messed up. But yes, things are starting to ramp up in the Antoine Griezmann um, news cycle. Things are starting to get interesting. And I think that this is moving in a very positive direction. We will get into that in just a moment. Going to wait for some more people to pour in, sharing this link on Twitter. Sharing this link on Twitter. Hope you guys will share the show with a friend. Try to reach as many people as we can. Going to talk a little bit about Griezmann tonight. Should have a couple interesting things. Just going to share this with a couple people, and we'll get right into it. Let's see. So it's been a couple days since we did a live stream. We obviously did a couple last week. We did a couple watch alongs. We had an Antoine Griezmann live stream. We had a coaching live stream about Pellegrino Matarazzo with the U.S. men's national team. We had a couple, like I said, watch alongs. But I wanted to start off this week with a watch along talking about Antoine Griezmann because there is a lot to talk about with him. And based on the stuff I've heard today, it's looking more and more likely with each passing day he will be a LAFC player. And that's exciting news for the league. And that is exciting news for LAFC. Just want to wait for a couple more people to pile in. We've been streaming for a couple minutes now. Just want to make sure people don't miss this. Make sure you like the video, share with a friend. Things are looking good when it comes to Antoine Griezmann. Things are starting to look really good. Um, so obviously, you've seen more reports start to trickle out saying that Antoine Griezmann is, going to be an LAFC player, whether that's now or down the road. It's a matter of when, not if. And as you guys know, if you follow me, I've been reporting this for several weeks now that this was going to happen. Like I said this 2 weeks ago, it's a matter of if, but not, or a matter of when, but not if. And things behind the scenes are really starting to ramp up. You guys obviously saw a couple days ago that John Thorrington was over in France and he was working on something. John Thorrington wouldn't be missing Olivier Giroud's signing his introductory press conference unless something was happening, right? Why would he miss a key player like that's introductory press conference unless it was something big about to happen? Now, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that he was over there talking with Antoine Griezmann or his agent trying to work this out. Now, there's some information that I can't necessarily share at this moment, but I will say next week is very, very crucial. Next week is going to be a very, very big week when it comes to the Antoine Griezmann signing. And I want to share, this is one thing I wanted to address too. I got to find this tweet that an LAFC account had shared earlier today. Let me find this real quick. I wanted to address this because I feel like this is something that has had a couple LAFC fans panicking because of what he said. Let me just find this real quick. I forgot what his okay, here he is. Let me find the tweet. He said something that kind of had people a little, nervous about it happening, skeptical if it was going to happen. I actually replied to it. Okay, I'm going to share this with you guys right now. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Griezmann had a subtweet or he tweeted something along the lines alluding to the Atletico Madrid signing of Julian Alvarez, which is something I've been talking about for a couple weeks, saying that that was going to be a crucial move on if LAFC was going to be able to sign Griezmann. They needed a replacement for Griezmann, right? So Griezmann made a tweet alluding to Atletico signing uh, Julian Alvarez. And this fan account, LAFCX, said Griezmann on Julian Alvarez, talking about his nickname, to Atletico Madrid. Make of it what you will. And then he put kind of like a sour face or like, or woozy, like, not feeling good about it, right? And he even ran a poll and said, what does this mean? Okay. Now, I don't think this is a big deal because at first of all, Antoine Griezmann is a huge Atletico Madrid fan. He's played there for almost a decade in two separate stints, and he's excited because a his team he loves is signing a top end player. He wants them to sign good players. He's not rooting against them. And I think he's excited because he knows when he leaves that they will be in good hands and that they will have a good team. So that's what I would make of that. I don't think that that's a big deal. Now, uh, this has no impact on the signing of Griezmann to LAFC, and I think that you should not look too much into this. He's just showing he is excited about the possibility of signing a great player to the team he loves. This doesn't mean that he's excited to play with him at Atletico Madrid. He's just excited about the team signing a player of his quality. And that's what I look into that, right? Because of the conversations I've had today and what I've heard. Now, there are a lot of obstacles still, like I said, to get this thing officially signed. I can't go too much into detail about that. It's close. It's getting closer and closer to being done, but there are still some things that have to be addressed before he officially comes over to LAFC and MLS. The payment's going to be very good. I've heard that he's going to make probably close to $20 million. I've said that numerous times as well. I think he'll make close to $20 million. And he will probably get some type of other benefit, whether that's a jersey sell on, a percentage of what the jerseys sell, something along those lines. He'll get some type of special deal. It won't be quite what Messi's getting, but it'll be something similar to that because they really want him at LAFC this summer. Now, another thing that someone had said to me was, "Hey, Will, why would he come right now? He's got a year left on his deal. Why would he leave? He's not going anywhere." Well, Griezmann can leave at any time he wants. There's a special clause in his deal that allows him to opt out if he chooses to. He just can't leave for another La Liga team. Now, I believe, like we've said numerous times, if he wants to come now, he will come now. He's not going to wait around until next summer or whenever. He'll come right now. And they say that, well, he can't, no, he can. If he wants to, he'll be here this summer. That's a fact. There's nothing contractual that's going to hold him up from coming here right now. Now, if they can get this done the next, with these incentives, like I said, with these special deals with like the jerseys or whatever, then it's going to happen. It cannot just be the actual salary itself. It's going to have to include other stuff. It's not going to be a messy deal. It's going to be like a messy light where there's going to be, there's going to be some additions that other players don't normally get because of what he is. And this is going to be huge for the league. This is going to be a very big signing for the league that we're going to celebrate, and it's going to help the league push forward because this is a type of player. Sorry, I didn't even realize I didn't have my light on. See if you guys can see me a little better. This is going to help the league out as well, and it's going to it's going to be like almost like a Saudi Arabia signing, right? Some of the players that they've been signing away from these European teams at their age. It's going to be almost in that level of signing, bringing him over to Major League Soccer right now. Now, the question is too, um, what are they going to have to sell someone? Because that's another discussion that we've been having. My good friend Nick Chastain of the Voices of Black and Gold has said that he believes they're going to have to sell probably Matty Bogusz in order to make this happen. That's one of the players, and other people have said this as well. They think they're going to have to sell him. It'll be interesting to see what they have to sell. We don't have the transparency of what uh, how much money these teams have and like general allocation money, how much they've spent in general allocation money. We don't really have those numbers, updated figures. So it will be interesting to see what they do with the rest of the roster if they sign Griezmann, because obviously someone's going to be benched. And on top of this, this is another important thing to mention about this signing and happening is all the subtle hints that Giroud has given since he's been in LA, talking about they want to play together, talking about that they've been talking about each other and saying how he was jealous. There has been just so many hints. It's just all culminating together, and I believe it's about to happen. This is almost the climax of when this is going to happen, and next week is the most important week for this deal to happen. If it doesn't happen next week, it's not going to happen at all. Next week will be the key date for Griezmann to LAFC. And if they don't sign Griezmann this window, which I believe it's going to happen, it's great. It's at the highest percentage chance it's been this whole process that he will be an LAFC player this summer. If it doesn't happen this summer, it will definitely happen next summer or possibly even the wintertime. Josh 99 Skills says, "What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream, man. We're just talking some Griezmann, these rumors and how things are picking up. It should be, it's going to be so interesting, and there's going to be some other possible news and player acquisitions. It's going to, start to ramp up the next couple weeks. Another thing too, which I don't really want to touch on this too much because it's kind of, it's nothing to do with LAFC, is the Marco Royce to LA Galaxy. That isn't looking too good right now. Honestly, that's not looking too good. That's a weird deal because it's been, I don't know, 2 months now that's been reported and nothing's happened yet. So that's a very weird situation going on with that. What position would Griezmann play at LAFC? Now, this is an interesting question too. A lot of French team fans I've talked to said they think he's better as like a 10 playing underneath Giroud. That's what he plays with the French national team. I liked him better as a winger because that's what I've always known him as at Atletico, playing as a forward, or at Barcelona when he played there. I thought he would play more as a number, as a winger, like on the essentially playing Carlos Vela's old position, Carlos Vela's old position. But I don't know. He can play so many different positions in MLS, honestly. I would like him at the wing, but I think he's going to play probably more as a 10 with LAFC. And they're going to have they're going to have the scariest team in Major League Soccer by far. And this is such a big, okay, I don't want to out the person. I'm not going to share who said this to me, but I'm going to read you this DM because I thought this was kind of funny. Okay, so I got a DM earlier from this. I'm not going to name who it was. This is what they said. They said, "You and everyone else are going to make Griezmann tell LAFC look like it's Messi coming to MLS. It's not the same." I said, "LOL, it's a big deal." And they said, yes, move is good, but he's always been overrated. Do you guys think that that Antoine Griezmann is overrated? I don't think he's overrated. I think if anything, he's underrated. I thought that was a very interesting comment to talk about Griezmann because he is arguably the best player in the league if he comes over right now. So how can the best player in the league be overrated? I don't understand that sentiment. I don't understand that. Carlos says it would suck to see Bogusz leave, but that's the cost of getting a player like Griezmann. Yeah, it is. And Bogusz, obviously, like you would love to keep him. But getting Griezmann is a game changer for the league. And I think that paying the price of getting rid of Bogusz does suck. But hey, your team is going to be the best team in MLS history. So it's, you know, it'll balance itself out or even, work out more in your favor. It would be nice to keep them all, but it's just not feasible at this time. Martin says if Griezmann signs this window instead of waiting till winter or next summer, what size of a contract do you think it takes to make him leave? I think he's going to have to. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but he's probably going to make close to 20 million a year, I would say, plus incentives like jersey percentage of his a percentage of his jersey sales, maybe something else creative, some marketing deals. That's probably what it's going to take. And every year he waits, or every window he waits to come to MLS, that number is going to go down each window. So now is the time for him to come because of his value is at its all-time high to come to MLS realistically. Mr. says he'll play just behind Giroud. Giroud will knock it down. Griezmann will finish it. So you got the 1-2 punch of Griezmann and Giroud. I mean, it works out nice for the national team. That would be ideal. Okay, this is going to get me a hot take. Okay, I truly believe this, and I know people are going to come at me for saying this. LAFC, when they signed Griezmann and what they have right now, I think LAFC is the best team in the region. They're better than any MLS team. They're better than any Liga MX team. And they're sure as hell better than any Canadian Premier League team. This LAFC team would be the best team in the region if they get Griezmann. Stacked team, unbelievable amount of talent. I think they would be the best team in the entire region, in my opinion. Captain Mayday says, I don't think we release Bogusz. We release Atuesta. That's how we get Griezmann. Yeah, but I think they want to sell Bogusz because they'll get a lot of general allocation money for him, and they can convert like up to $3 million. So I think that's why they want to sell him. Atuesta is not going to get you any money. So I think that Atuesta is at least here for the rest of the summer, or I'm sorry, for the rest of the year, and they'll probably try to buy him out next year. But I think Bogusz is going to be the most likely player to leave if Griezmann comes in. Bogusz will be the number one player to be out. The question is, what I just said, do you think that this will be the best team in CONCACAF if they sign Griezmann? Will LAFC be the biggest club in CONCACAF if they sign Antoine Griezmann? I think they will be. I think that they'll have the best depth, the best attack. I mean, Bouanga, Giroud, Kike Oliveira, and Antoine Griezmann playing underneath. And also, too, someone had said that they think that they won't change the formation if Griezmann comes and he'll actually play on the wing. That's to be determined. I think they will change the formation, but I do think that they will be the best team in the region and the best team in MLS, and they will do what they have to do to get all their good players on the pitch. Okay, so Tommy says yes, he thinks they will be the best team in the in CONCACAF and probably in MLS, the best attack for sure. Do you think Vela will return if Griezmann signs? I've talked about this a little bit before. I don't know if that's a stipulation for him to come. You have to sign Vela. You bring him back because you got to do what you got to do to get Griezmann to come back to MLS. Vela obviously hasn't played soccer in 10 months, so he's out of shape and it's going to take a while for him to get back in form. So it's going to be a very tricky signing. I don't know. If Griezmann wants Vela, he'll play for LAFC. Does Griezmann want Vela? I'm sure he does, but how much is he going to push it? To be determined. Martin says, last question. You think Vela ever comes back to LAFC for a farewell season, or is he done with his career giving his vacationing and apparent lack of training based? Yeah, I think he's done. I don't think he's coming back unless Griezmann asks for him. But we'll see. Carlos Rodriguez says, on paper, it will surely be the greatest team ever assembled, but they're going to need quick results to prove it. Here's the thing. They're already playing really well, and they don't even have these key players integrated into the team yet. You got to have, you don't have Giroud integrated. You don't have Lewis O'Brien integrated. You don't have Griezmann integrated, and they're still one of the best teams, if not the best team in MLS right now. So I think that they'll be fine. Giroud is normally very good at adjusting to his team, his environment. So I think he will adjust really quickly, and I don't think he'll be. I think he will fit in quite nicely and pretty effectively off the rip. I don't think there'll be any adjustment period for him. Mister, if for the guy with the DM saying Griezmann is overrated, he's not. Yes, Barca didn't work out, but everywhere else he's played for, he's been excellent. Yeah, I agree. Griezmann's been one of my favorite players for a long time. I think he's a very good player. I think that Barcelona obviously was a not good situation, but Barca hasn't been a good situation for a long time. And that I think that he will fit very nicely with LAFC, and he will thrive very well, and they will be the best team in the league. And you guys are I'm assuming all you guys are LAFC fans. You guys should be very happy. You're about to have the best team in MLS history by a long shot. And it's going to be nice to see what they can do against the league. And hopefully teams like this can elevate the league's quality year to year on a year-to-year basis. It's exciting. I'm excited to see what happens. I can't wait for this deal to get done because it's going to be huge for the league. It's going to be the third biggest signing in MLS history in my ranks, third biggest signing in my in history. I think Griezmann still has a lot to offer. He's only 33 years old, and I think that his style of play is going to adjust really well to MLS, and he's going to absolutely tear this league a new one. Now, how many goals and assists is he going to score in a season? To be determined. I don't know. I let's look at it. Just for curiosity purposes. Let's see what Griezmann's in a better league, right? Let's see what his best season was in scoring goals. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Griezmann scored 16 goals in 2023 and the 2024 season, which is really good. 24 in all competitions. If he scored 16 goals in La Liga, he could score 30 in MLS easily, if not more. So his best season was in the 17-18 season. No, I'm sorry, the 15-16 season and the 14-15 season. He scored 22 goals each in both of those seasons. So he's a goal scorer. He scores a bunch of goals. Now he didn't have a good stint at Barcelona, but we talked about how that was kind of a not ideal situation. But he scored goals in every place he's been in his career except for Barcelona, where he still scored. He just didn't score in like the high double digits or like the close to 20s. It was more like in the lower teens. But he can score goals. And if he's scoring goals in La Liga, imagine what he's going to do in MLS with a superior team around him. He could easily score 30 goals in a season. Will he? Probably not. I would say he'd be closer to like a 20-20 player, 20 goals, 20 assists. But as we can see right here, he can score goals, and he will score goals for in MLS. And I can't wait to see what he looks like when he links up with Denis Bouanga. Denis Bouanga is going to be unleashed. And there was a lot of people too saying that Olivier Giroud was washed, that he wasn't good anymore either. I'm like, are these people even watching like these leagues they're playing in? Olivier Giroud had a great season at AC Milan. He led the league in assists, and he was like third in goals. Now he's more of like a playmaking striker where he's distributing the ball and looking to set his teammates up. So he had 15 goals last year and 13 and 22, 23 and 11 in the previous year before that. He's actually gaining 2 goals each season, which is funny. But I think that Olivier Giroud could easily score probably 20 to 25 in MLS. Now, you guys are going to say, well, how are they scoring all these goals? So, Griezmann scoring 30, Bouanga scoring 25, Giroud scoring 25. They'll probably score. Someone's going to have to probably sacrifice their goal scoring. I would say probably Bouanga will probably be the least goal score the least amount of goals out of all 3 of those players. Bouanga will probably turn into like a 15 to 20 goal guy. Giroud will probably be 20 to 25, and then Griezmann will probably be 22 to 28, maybe 25 to 30, just depending on how much he plays and what position he plays. but they have a lot of bona fide goal scorers on this team. It's going to be interesting. I just can't wait to see how this all comes about and how they play. Because if you remember in 2018, the team was really good and stacked, and then they added Gareth Bale and Chiellini, and they got even better, and they won the MLS Cup. And I was talking with a friend who's an LAFC fan, and I asked him, I said, "What is the expectations if they sign these guys?" And he said, well, if they sign all these guys, they have to win multiple MLS Cups. One won't do it. They have to win multiple MLS Cups. Multiple MLS Cups, not just one, multiple. So that's the expectations a lot of LAFC fans have at the moment. With the squad they're building, they should be able to win the Leagues Cup, US Open Cup, and MLS Cup this year. Leagues Cup might be a stretch. I don't know if they'll all be in sync by that time because the finals in like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So I don't know if they'll be able to win that per se, but I do agree that they should win the US Open Cup, and they should, if they get Griezmann, they definitely should win the MLS Cup. Like they will be right there with Miami and Columbus and Cincinnati for the MLS Cup and the Galaxy. Probably the favorite in the West to win MLS Cup if they sign all these guys. Or LAFC breaks all scoring records. Yeah, I don't. I think that the 2019. Let me look at that real quick. What is the MLS scoring record for a season for a team? I want to say it's 90 goals. I want to say that the 2019 LAFC team broke the record. Let's see. In a season. Let's see. Okay, so LAFC tied the LA Galaxy's 1998 record of 98 goals in a season. I'm sorry, 85 goals. I'm sorry, 85 goals in a season. So the estimates I gave for Giroud, Griezmann, and Bouanga would almost eclipse that scoring record by themselves, which might be a little difficult. But that's interesting. So 85 goals by your LAFC in 2019 is tied with the 1998 LA Galaxy for the record of most goals scored in the MLS regular season. It's interesting. I just don't know how any team is going to be able to stop this team. Like, pick your poison. So many good players on each side of the ball. I just don't know how they're going to be able to stop that. Now the question is, if Dolo ends up leaving, because there haven't been any official news on who's going to be the new U.S. men's national team head coach, if he leaves, that could be the thing that kind of makes this thing go off a cliff and decline and go off the rails. So that could be something that kind of hinders this team if they have to make a coaching switch. But that's not a certainty yet. For now, he will still be. Ryan Romero says LAFC supporter here, ready for all LAFC topics. Yeah, we just been talking about Griezmann, how he is. It's looking likely with each passing day he's going to be an LAFC player this summer. Next week is crucial. They have a lot of stuff already agreed upon. John Thorrington was over in France talking to his agent, trying to hash out the details to get him signed officially to LAFC. And there are a couple hiccups that need to be resolved. They'll have until next week to get that situated. But I believe that more than I have ever believed, and I've been doing this, we've been talking about this for a couple weeks now. I believe more now than I have at any point that he will be an LAFC player this summer. And I believe would be an LAFC player this summer the whole time. I'm just at an even higher percentage at this moment, and I think it's going to happen. We will be winning the U.S. Open Cup. Our players have expressed excitement and are very determined to win the trophy. That hasn't been in the case in previous years. That hasn't been the case in previous years. LAFC wants the Open Cup more than ever before. Well, hopefully they win it. Hopefully they win the U.S. Open Cup, legitimize it, make MLS pay attention to it, because it is a tournament that I think a lot of us want to see taken serious and We don't want the tournament to obviously go away. So hopefully LAFC takes that tournament serious and they do win it and preserves the U.S. Open Cup. Is there any more news on the Steve Cherundolo and the U.S. men's national team situation? Because Cherundolo is a big reason for LAFC's success. Yeah, that is something that's still being resolved. They haven't, obviously, the U.S. men's national team haven't hired a coach yet. Steve is very much in the consideration for that job at the moment. Be interesting to see what happens. If guys keep rejecting the job, then Steve goes up the priority list. Every person that rejects the job, Steve has a higher chance of getting the job. Ryan Romero says, I mean, there's 8 days left, but I have faith in JT to get it done. Yeah, have faith. Hey, trust in JT. John Thornton. When has John Thornton ever let you LAFC fans down? When has he ever let you guys down? He has won you guys an MLS Cup. He has built this team to get you guys to two CONCACAF Champions League finals. He is a great general manager, front office person, and he is a really good general manager, very good general manager. Can't say anything bad about him. He's honestly if not the best, top 2, top 3 in the league. Captain Mayday says, especially with Atletico signing that Man City player. Yes, that's another thing. Yes. Okay. We need to talk about that too. Obviously, Julian Alvarez, we mentioned that earlier, but so Atletico signed a couple guys. They signed Colin Gallagher. They signed who was the other guy they signed recently? They signed another player recently. Let me just look it up real quick and see. I don't want to misquote it and say a different name. They're on the verge of signing 3 players. Okay, let's see. Atletico Madrid. Was it Sorloth, I think is his name? Sorloth from Villarreal. So the Nordic striker. They got Conor Gallagher, and then they're on the verge of signing Julian Alvarez. Now, Julian Alvarez is a player that I look at as a natural replacement for Antoine Griezmann, and I believe if they sign him, it's going to ramp up the process of him coming to LAFC. And I addressed this earlier. Some of you guys might have missed this. Obviously, Griezmann had tweeted about, he didn't retweet, but he tweeted about the signing of Alvarez with the spider and the emojis talking about the signing. And it kind of got a couple of fans frantic and saying, oh my God, does this mean he's going to stay? What does this mean? I wouldn't look into it. Obviously, this is a club he loves. This is probably his favorite club he's played for. It means a lot, to him. And he wants to see them succeed. So signing a player of Julian Alvarez's stature is a big deal to him because he wants them to win even when he's gone. So I wouldn't look too much into that. That's a no deal for me. I don't know if that's a big deal for you guys, but that's a no deal for me. I don't look much into that. I think that has no bearing on his signing. I think, if anything, officially getting that signing underway just increases the chances he comes. David Day, a super chat member or a member of the channel, says like the like button. Yes, like the like button. I think we got 11 or 12 likes right now. Share with a friend. We're trying to grow our audience. Get as many LAFC fans in here as possible. Let's talk about Antoine Griezmann. Let's talk about the biggest signing in your club's history. It's getting closer and closer every day. Let's grow the audience. Let's talk about Griezmann. Let's talk about Giroud. Let's talk about your chances to get another MLS Cup because they're going up every single day. Also, guys, I'm proud to announce that I'm partnering up and I'm a brand ambassador with SeatGeek. It's a dream come true to be partnered up with a sponsor like SeatGeek. And I couldn't be more happy to announce our partnership. So if you guys go buy some tickets at SeatGeek, use promo code MLS Moves, all caps, to get $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. LAFC says, I also think we will beat the Galaxy 3 in a row this season, 2-0 so far. Yeah, it's looking like it could be a sweep, which would be the first in LAFC history, right? I don't think either team has ever swept each other in a season. I think that would be the first time in history, which that'd be quite impressive. It is not balanced the team. DC United is the worst team. So what do you mean it is not? It is it is not balanced the team. What do you mean by that? Ryan Romero says, nah, he's been cooking for real, especially now that we got Neil McGuinness, the Columbus Crew's director of scouting and player recruitment, as their TD. Yeah. Yeah. John Thorrington is, he's the man. You cannot doubt John Thorrington. He has earned the trust of all the fans. He gets things done. He will lead you to the promised land once again. David Day says, feels like summer, childish Campino. LAFC landing a big name. It feels like summer. Yeah, finally, right? Everybody was waiting for that big name last summer, and they kind of just, signed a bunch of, I want to say role players because they were better than that, but they didn't sign any big names. They just signed a couple of gel pieces around the big names, hoping it would be enough to get them another MLS Cup. It didn't work out that way. They obviously lost to the Columbus Crew in the MLS Cup final. This year feels different. This feels like 2022 again. I think this could be the year that LAFC gets back to MLS Cup and wins it. Third, how crazy would that be if they made their third MLS Cup in a row? I don't even know the last time an MLS team made 3 MLS Cups in a row. Jay says, what is your ideal formation for LAFC with the added players? I personally think a 5-4-1 makes a lot of sense, having Ilie, Atuesta, O'Brien, and Tillman playing the 2 other midfielder positions. Okay. So if I was building the starting lineup, I would play a 4-3-3, which they're doing right now. But instead of playing a defensive midfielder and just 2 center midfielders, I would play a formation where you have in the midfield, you have a cam and 2 center midfielders. So to swap out the central defensive midfielder and put a midfielder more in an attacking position, which would be Griezmann. And then I would have Denny on the left side, Giroud up top, Kike on the right side. I'd have Griezmann play underneath as the playmaker. And then I would have probably Tillman and O'Brien as the two starting center midfielders. And then I would probably have Ilie as a super sub coming off the bench, especially. I know you guys have probably noticed this, but Ilie has started to slow down. You can see his age starting to really affect him. I would probably demote him to the bench and more as a sub. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Ilie has even played some center back at sometimes, maybe even play center back sometimes. But I'd like to see Ilie in reserve minutes or limited minutes because of his age and how much older he's getting. I think that would be better. So in the midfield, I would have O'Brien, Tillman, and then I would have Griezmann play in front of both of them underneath Giroud. And I think in this scenario, Bogusz will be sold because someone's going to have to go. They're not going to be able to keep everybody. And I think you'd probably rather sell Bogusz instead of Kike Oliveira. And the crazy thing about Kike Oliveira is he actually turned out to be better than Brian Rodriguez, and he cost less than Brian Rodriguez. Jay follows up and says, Ilie has definitely slowed down. My thoughts behind the 5-4-1 is to get to see more from Campos at the wingback position instead of left back. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Steve likes to play a 5-4-1. I know he maybe played a couple times, but I think he's in love with that 4-3-3. I mean, I guess maybe even like a 4-5 4-5-1 or a 4-2-3-1 could even be an option. But I think the 4-3-3 with the attacking midfielder and the 2 center mids would probably be the move, in my opinion. I could be wrong, though. It'd be interesting to see how they get all these players on the field. You got to get all these guys on the field. I think Ilie is the odd man out because Lewis O'Brien, I've been talking him up for a while now. He is so good. He's got to play. He has got to play. You cannot have him on the bench. He's too valuable. I think he's a great player. Really good player. Keep in mind, would have been a DP for DC United if they had signed him because they wanted $6 to $7 million for Lewis O'Brien, and they did not want to pay that, DC United. You guys got him on loan. This is a player that would be a DP on any other team, and you guys got him on loan as a TAM player. Just another reason why John Thornton's the man. Carlos Vela comes back. I don't think that's going to happen, David. Honestly, I think Carlos Vela's days are done unless Griezmann says, "Bring my guy back." I think he's done. I don't think he's coming back. I think those days are over. Jay says, I'd much rather sell Oliveira due to overall talent." So you're saying that you would rather keep Bogusz because he's better than Oliveira, or are you saying you'd rather sell Oliveira because he's better than Bogusz and he'd get more money? Now, here's an interesting debate. Is Oliveira better than Diego Rossi? Because Rossi obviously is sentimental to you guys because he scored your first ever goal in history, one of the first DPs you guys ever had. But is Kike better than Diego Rossi? He's better than Brian Rodriguez, but is he better than Diego Rossi? Interesting question. A lot of people think that he could be. I've talked to some LAFC fans that think that he is better, more talented than Diego Rossi. Um, it's still a little too early to tell. I don't remember how. I think Kike. What is Kike? 21, 22? Let's see. Christian Oliveira. See how old he is. I want to say he's 22. Okay, yeah, so he's 22 years old. And then so they signed Rossi when he was 19 going on 20 and sold him in 2020 21. Diego Rossi, was it 2021 or was it 2022 they sold Diego Rossi? Okay, so Rossi is 26 years old, still very young. So Rossi went on loan to Fenerbahce in 2021. Okay, so he hasn't been there. He left at 23 years old. He hasn't. Dang, it's hard to believe it's already been that long since he played for LAFC. In 2021, halfway through the 2021 season, right? Yeah. So he got sold in the summer of 2021. Wow. He only played 2 full seasons in MLS. That's crazy because the COVID year and then 2021. It feels like he was here longer than that. Like he was at LAFC longer than just the 2.5 years. That's crazy. Let's see. Sorry, I got a little bit of lag. Tommy says Giroud will generate as many goals as Ibra. Probably. He's not as good of a goal scorer as Ibrahimovic, but he's a better playmaker than Ibrahimovic. I think he's just going to be a key cog in the playmaking ability for this team. It's going to be very nice to see. Can we loan Bogusz? I don't think you're going to loan Bogusz. I think you're going to sell him because he's obviously probably the most valuable he's ever been with LAFC right now. So the time to sell him would be now and get that $3 million in game that you can convert. I think that right now would be the time to sell him. Jay says Vela looked very poor at the end of last season. Yeah, Vela is 35 years old and he hasn't played soccer in 10 months. I just think that there's way too much risk in that, and he's not going to come for a cheap deal. He wants a DP level money. So I just think the time's over for Carlos Vela and LAFC. Marvin Chavez says Oliveira hustles more and has grit. Team player. Rossi is more clutch. Yeah. If you have, I would say Bouanga's clutch though, right? Bouanga is probably the most clutch player, in my opinion, right now for LAFC. So if Bouanga is a new clutch player, take the clutchness off, and we're just talking about the skill set of Rossi and Oliveira, who would you take then? Jay says Bogusz is way better than Oliveira. I don't find Oliveira that great. Really, I mean, I think definitely Bogusz is better, but my original thought was I would keep Bogusz and then I would just play Griezmann on the wing. But a lot of people are very insistent on Griezmann playing underneath as more of a 10. That's his best position. So I agree with you, though. I thought that Bogusz would be better, and having Griezmann play on the right wing and Vela's old spot would be the best way to go forward. But they believe that if Griezmann comes, that Bogusz will be in fact gone. So thoughts on David Martinez? He's young, but he's playing well. The Venezuelan. I think he's got a lot of talent. A lot of people said that the sky's the limit for that guy or that kid, and it'll be interesting to see how he develops. He's only 18 years old. I think he's still got a lot to learn. The talent's there. It's just a matter of how much time he'll get to play, how many opportunities he will get. But I like what I've seen, and I think he's uber talented, and that's just that would have been an amazing signing for any team, and he's a depth role player, fringe depth player for LAFC. That just shows how good of a team that they are and how well they of an organization they've got going on over there. Ryan Romero says he's getting there, finding his spaces still and scoring. He's not quite there yet, but has the talent and potential to surpass what Rossi was able to do for us. Yeah, I would say that that's probably a fair assessment that he might not have peaked or surpassed Rossi at his prime with LAFC, but he's got a higher ceiling than Rossi does at LAFC. There's more talent there. I mean, he's already getting significant minutes for Uruguay's senior team. So I mean that's already ahead of where Rossi was during his LAFC stint. I'd much rather sell Oliveira or loan him out and see more of Martinez. Yeah, I mean, Martinez is obviously, we talked about his talent. He needs to get some minutes. That's crucial for a young player. He needs to get as much playing time as he can to develop. But he's got to earn that too. You can't just give him minutes. He's going to have to earn it. And it's going to be hard for him to earn minutes because of how deep and how stacked this team is. Having some issues. I don't know if you guys, if I'm lagging on your side, these comments I'm trying to add to the page or they're delayed for some reason. I don't know, man. Rossi won a golden boot and he stepped up when Vela was out during the pandemic and throughout his injuries. Yeah, Rossi is a great player. I'm much respect for Rossi. I love him, what he did at LAFC. I like what he's doing for the crew. But I think that Oliveira might be more talented, even though Rossi has a special place in all the LAFC fans' hearts. He has a special place in my heart because I liked seeing young players like him come in MLS and thrive because it was good for the league and encouraged other young players to want to come here to get to find their footing and for a launch pad to a better league. So it's still early. I think, like I said, I think Oliveira might be more talented, but Rossi was better at this point. Redefine, he says, yeah, I love David Martinez. I really don't want to sell Bogusz. Yeah, listen, I think ideally, I think all you LAFC fans would agree, you don't want to sell any of your players. You'd like to keep them all because you want to see the super team be assembled. You don't want to have to sacrifice Bogusz or Kike Oliveira or David Martinez to get Antoine Griezmann. You want to be able to keep all these guys because you want to have the depth and the, just be able to have guys step in case someone's hurt, not sacrifice quality if there's an injury. So I understand that. It'd be nice if they didn't have to sell anybody. They could just keep this team assembled. Bogusz will be gone by winter, more than likely. Yeah, he might. Who knows? He could be sold next week. Who knows? Things could get very interesting next week. Oliveira would benefit from Griezmann and Bogusz at Cam would benefit from Griezmann playing on the wing. Yeah, I would love to see Griezmann on the wing, but it'll be interesting to see how Steve decides to assemble this team and what kind of formation he'll play with and if he'll change anything. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I just don't see Griezmann this window, but next window for sure. I'm telling you right now, don't discount Griezmann. There is a lot of room or momentum of him coming this winter or this summer. Next week is going to be crucial. I think it could get done. I think it will get done because Atletico have all these pieces they've signed to replace him so that they are not left without a replacement or a quality gap if he doesn't play for the team, because he, in my opinion, was their best player last year, even the last 2 years for Atletico. And I think they'll be fine. I think that they will be just fine. And if he wants to leave, he will leave. It's all on Griezmann's shoulders right now. It's not Atletico deciding. It's not the league deciding. Well, actually, it is the league deciding. I can't really get into details about that, but Griezmann is the final call. If he wants to come, he will be here. Marvin says, respect your neutrality as a MLS page. I can tell it's genuine. Other MLS pages hate on certain teams. Yeah, I don't hate on any team. I obviously dislike the cheap teams who don't want to spend any money and push the league forward. I don't like teams like that. But now, I'm not trying to upset anybody in this page. I genuinely like LAFC and the LA Galaxy equally. I don't like either team more or less than the other. I just want to see every great team push the league forward and hopefully become a top league in the world. That's what I'm here to do. I don't support any team in the league. I am completely neutral. I don't know any other person who covers MLS or watches MLS that doesn't have a favorite team. I have never had a favorite team. I never will have a favorite team. I like all teams equally. How do you rank the Ream transfer? Well, Tim Ream is 36, almost 37 years old. He had a so-so Copa America. He had some good games. He had some bad games. I think he's good for MLS, but I'd have to see what he's making. But when you get a defender, a center back who is 30, not 37 years old, they can just decline so quickly. I just don't know what we're gonna get out of him at Charlotte. Like, what's he gonna have left in the tank? He could be good for the rest of this year and then just completely nosedive next season. So there's just a lot of variables about Tim Ream. I personally think that if they gave him a max Tim deal, that's not good business. You don't pay a 37-year-old center back 1.6, $1.7 million. So it's all about what they're paying him. I don't expect much of him at this point, but I am curious to see what he has left in the tank. Also, if Griezmann comes to LAFC, what do you expect from LAFC in the Club World Cup if they win MLS? I expect them to make some noise. I said this earlier in the stream that I think if Griezmann comes to LAFC, that they will be the best team in the region. They'll be better than any Liga MX team. It will be better than obviously an MLS team. It will be better than any Canadian Premier League team. Hell, they could be competing with some South American teams, some of the big dogs, some of the River Plates, the Boca Juniors, the Palmeiras, Flamengo. They could be competing with Fluminense. They could be competing with those teams with this club. I'm not saying they would beat those teams. I'm just saying that this would be the best team in MLS history by far, in my opinion. This team clears Inter Miami. This team would clear Inter Miami because all these guys are younger than the Miami Barca boys, except for Giroud. Giroud is actually older than all the Barca guys, but there's something about him. He ages slower, like fine wine. You know, he might be older on paper, but he doesn't look as old. He doesn't seem like he has the same mileage as the Barca guys do. The great thing about Griezmann is he can play striker, center forward, central attacking midfielder, center mid, winger. He is a huge glue piece who can fill for anyone. Yeah, that's what's great about Griezmann. His quality is so great. He can play multiple positions, and I think that that's what makes him a very intriguing piece. You look at Messi, for example, right at this point in his age, he can play he could play a 10 and he can obviously play on the wing, but he's not going to do a lot of running at this point in his career. So he's very limited and like he's very specific on what position he's playing at this time. Griezmann's only 33. He can play multiple positions. He is just so versatile. That's what makes him a very intriguing signing from a multitude of reasons. But yes, that is a great thing about him is he's like a Swiss Army knife. He can do so much for this team. You can't undersell what he can do for this team. Does LAFC have his discovery rights, or does that not matter unless the player is a free agent? I'm like 99. I can't confirm that 100%, but I'm 99% sure that LAFC has Antoine Griezmann's discovery rights, because if they didn't, we would have heard who had them by now, and it would have been floated around who had his discovery rights, because they would be trying to hardball LAFC to get as much game as they can get for him. Alvarez is not a replacement. Okay, he's not a direct replacement for. They don't play the same position at Atletico. But what I'm saying is they're not going to give away one of their most important attacking pieces without replacing or having another attacking piece to replace the production, even if they don't play the exact same position. That's what I'm saying. Marvin says, players I'm willing to let go for new players. Campos, Atuesta, Murillo, Dueñas really want to move on from Ortiz. Yeah, I do. I will say this, Marvin. I do think the LAFC needs to get another center back. I think that they desperately miss what Chiellini brought back there. That's just my opinion. I think that might be one other position I would try to address, is getting a center back. Sergio Ramos is still on the market. Obviously, he's super old. He would be the same age as what Chiellini was when he came to MLS 2 years ago. But they just need a presence back there. I think they could really use a center back. And if they get a center back, then I already feel very confident they're going to win MLS Cup this year. If they get a center back, I know they're going to win MLS Cup this year. Like, I think it's a foregone conclusion they will win MLS Cup. Jay says, can't really let Atuesta go. He's on a loan. Is he on a loan, or did they buy him? I haven't checked on that. I thought they bought him back, but maybe you're right. Maybe they did. Maybe they did just get him back on loan. Let me see. Okay, so he is on loan. They could terminate his loan. I don't know what the loan fee would be, but I would say after what we've seen, there is no way in hell I would buy him. I don't know what his loan purchase option is, but there's no way there's no way I would pay it, though. There's just no way. I haven't seen enough. Metro says better than Columbus. Who? LAFC? Who are you asking is better than Columbus? Marvin, Miami has a terrible defense, so bad. Yeah, that's the thing. LAFC's defense isn't very good, but it's not Miami bad. Miami is like historically bad, right? So if Miami plays LAFC in the MLS Cup final, we're going to get like a record scoring fest in the final. It's going to be goals galore, going to be ratings gold for the league. That's probably what will happen. That's why I say LAFC probably needs another center back to really solidify the back line and try to maximize the defensive option so that they can stop Inter Miami when they play in the MLS Cup final. Guys, if you haven't liked the show already, please like the video down below. Share with a friend. We're trying to grow the audience as much as we can. Trying to get as many LAFC fans in here as possible. Want to see what everybody thinks about Griezmann, how excited they are about the potential of signing him. So make sure you share this with a friend, like this video down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We just recently hit 4,000 subscribers, which is a huge accomplishment for the channel. Appreciate all the support. And if you're new to the channel, I hope you'll join and turn the little bell notification on so you never miss a video. I have some trust issues with LAFC's defense. I know we have given up very few goals, but I just can't trust Aaron Long. Yeah, I've never been able to trust Aaron Long, but you do have the veteran presence in goal with Lloris, and I think that kind of helps you guys out more with not having that veteran center back that I'm talking about that was like the Chiellini role, but maybe Lloris kind of fills that a little bit just with everything he's seen. World Cup winner, Champions League experience, Premier League, goalkeeper of the year a couple times, if I'm not mistaken. So he does help a little bit, but you need to give him some help. Miami super team dream has been a failure. I mean, I don't know if they've been a failure. I mean, damn, they're winning the supporters. They're winning the supporters shield right now. So they won the league's cup last year. I wouldn't say they're a failure. Now, if they don't win an MLS Cup, then they're a failure. But I think it's too early to say that Inter Miami's a failure. We need a super team in MLS to force those teams who don't want to spend money and invest in players to do so. Here's the problem, though, Anthony. If you have a super team in MLS, the cheap teams are still not going to spend because they can't get relegated. They have no incentive to spend. Even with the teams that spend and try, it affects the cheap teams. It doesn't affect them at all. They don't have to spend because there's no promotion relegations. There's nothing at stake for them. So I don't think that that's going to. I do want first teams better because they already don't care and they're not going to spend any money. Miami hasn't been good, but I'm expecting a huge amount of roster changes so they can bring Di Maria or someone else in the winter. Yeah, well, Di Maria, I think, just re-upped for a year with Benfica today. I think that's what the report was. So I don't think he's going to come. I don't know if he's going to come to Miami in the wintertime. I think that definitely kind of complicates things. It'll be interesting to see if he does, but I don't know if he's coming now, honestly. I think if he was going to, this would have been the time. Brandon says joining late, so apologies if it was asked, but how likely are we to see Giroud these knockouts? I think he's going to play in the knockouts. He's training with the team already. I want to say that he was active August 3rd. LAFC plays, was it Thursday they play? Let me see. Okay, so yeah, they play tomorrow actually. What? They play tomorrow? Interesting. So the round of 32 starts tomorrow. Hold on. I thought they didn't start till Thursday. Let me just look this up real quick. Okay. So my computer's just acting really slow for some reason. What the hell is going on? Matches schedule. Okay, so round of 32 starts tomorrow. Wow, that's a little sooner than I thought. I'm going to be putting out my round of 32 prediction video tomorrow. I'm going to record that tonight. I wanted to finish. I wanted all the games obviously to finish before I made that prediction. But I'm going to make my prediction video for the round of 32 for the whole tournament tonight, and I'll have that out tomorrow morning. But yeah, damn, that's interesting. Maybe I should live stream that game. Man, I wish Chiellini would have played one more year. Yeah, I mean, it was getting kind of rough down the stretch. So we makes sense. I mean, he was 40. I know the Italians age well. They normally play into they can play in their late 30s to their early 40s. But I think it was time. I think he could tell that he wasn't going to make it a full season anymore. Do you see Bouanga transfer rumors to go back to France picking up again after the season? No, I think Bouanga's in it for the long haul. I mean, they just gave him an extension to where I think he's like a top 5 paid player in MLS now. So I personally don't think Bouanga is going anywhere. I think he's going to be an LAFC player for the immediate future, and they don't have to get rid of him now, right? They used to have a young DP to be able to sign all 3 U22s. That rule has changed, so they can sign 3 senior DPs, Bouanga, Giroud, and Griezmann, and still keep their 3 U22s. Bogusz, Kike Oliveira, and Martinez, if I'm not mistaken, is the 3rd U22. So there's no reason to sell Bouanga because he's making good money. And they don't need to sell him for the U22 rule. Now, Bogusz is going to be sold most likely. So who's going to replace him as a U22 spot? That will be interesting. Don't use a center back on that position, though. They need a veteran. I wouldn't mind seeing them use that U22 spot that Bogusz will be vacating. I wouldn't mind seeing them use that spot on a young striker to learn under Giroud because let's face it, Kai Kamara is almost 40. Giroud is almost 40. They need a striker who's young and who can learn underneath Giroud. That's what I would do. Okay, so Bogusz is not, he was a U22 at first, so I guess he's not a U22 anymore. So Campos, Oliveira, and Martinez are the U22s. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder if so Campos can't or Campos. I'm sorry, Campos can't be bought down because he costs like 5 million. I think he's too expensive, and I can't remember what they spent for Oliveira. I think he was like 5 or 6 million. So that's interesting. Damn. Well, damn. They should probably sell Oliveira then, honestly, so they can open up a U22. Do you think playing Giroud? Do you think okay? So he's asking if I think Giroud's going to play tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow. I don't know. Honestly, if I knew Giroud is playing tomorrow, I would definitely be live streaming that game. I would love to watch his first game and live stream and see what happens. I'm not 100% sure if he's playing tomorrow. I think he'll probably be the round of 16 if they make it. Of course, they're playing Austin FC, so they should win that game, right? Some of these attendances at Leagues Cup matches are downright embarrassing. Yeah, they have been, but that's because the teams that are having poor attendance are bad teams. Atlanta United fired their coach and sold their three best players. Nobody's going to pay an arm and a leg to go watch a bad team with those kind of with higher prices and that just aren't good. He's definitely been quieter this year with the emergence of Bogusz and Oliveira, but I would don't think they'd get what they want to send him off. Let's see. BMO Stadium, LAFC is having a concert this weekend, so they moved the day to let them. Okay. Okay. So it was originally supposed to be Thursday and they moved it up. Gotcha. Gotcha. They should have got Mason Toye to learn under Giroud. Maybe yeah, it wouldn't have been too bad. I know a young American striker at PSV that could use a new team. Yeah. I think Pepe's going to have a really good season at PSV this year. I think he's going to have a breakout season, honestly. When will Atlanta United's new DP debut? Atlanta's out of the League's Cup, right? They got eliminated, so probably. Let's see. Yeah, so I guess he won't debut till the 24th against the Galaxy. So it'd be almost 3 weeks until he debuts. Why do you think New York City FC can't get any decent big names players? Aren't they under the same Manchester City umbrella? They should also be a super team by this point. City Football Group has shown that they don't really care about New York City FC as much as you would think they would. That's the second club they have ever owned, New York City FC. I think they're waiting until they get their new stadium built. Then they'll start investing more money. Then they'll start investing more money into their team. But until then, I think they're just going to kind of ride the, do the same process. I saw Talis Magno is about to be sold, so they'll have a DP spot available for it. But I agree, it's sad that they had to wait until then to actually do anything. That's very pathetic. All right, guys, I'm going to go about 10 more minutes. Make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the little bell notification so you never miss any of my streams or newest videos. We're putting out a Leagues Cup round of 32 prediction. I'm going to predict who I think is going to advance to the final and win it all. Wanted to wait until after the group stage because there's just too many teams at that point. Wanted to wait until we got to the knockout round before I did a full prediction of Leagues Cup. So be on the lookout for that. They'll probably drop around 11 to 12 Eastern time, 8 to 9 Pacific Standard Time. So just be on the lookout for that. City Football Group only cares about Man City, basically. Exactly, they do. Even Girona, who is going to play in the Champions League, they haven't done anything for them. So, yeah, City Football Group's been a huge disappointment with the ownership group umbrella. wish they would have done more than what they've done. They should have honestly been doing what Atlanta United has been doing as far as transfer fees because of how much money and resources they have at their disposal. Why doesn't Magno play at all? I get that they want to sell him, but I don't see why you don't play him and try to get his value up. I don't know 100%. I think him and Nick Cushing don't really have a good relationship, and I think that he's been very frustrated with the club, understandably. So I think they're just ready to cut bait with him, cut their losses, and try to recoup whatever they can get from his transfer fee, and probably replace him in the wintertime. I don't think they're going to do anything this summer. I think they're going to wait and see until the winter. Would love to see a big three in MLS: Miami, LAFC, New York City with the big names. Maybe one day, if they make some rule changes, maybe we could see 6 or 7 big name teams and or big clubs in MLS. That would be the dream. Enjoying your content, man. Keep it up. Hey, I appreciate it, Anthony. Thank you for the support. Really love doing these live streams with you guys, talking MLS all the time. Just getting your opinion and feedback, and love answering your guys' questions. Galaxy remind me of Inter Miami. Exciting offense, bad defending. Yeah, they really are. Their defending it feels like it's inevitable that they're going to give up goals to lose them the game. And speaking of the Galaxy and Inter Miami, even when they're up, it feels like they could be down at any point just because their defense is abysmal and they always choke away goals. And if they could get some, consistent defending, be very scary teams. Who's some big name players you could see coming to MLS outside of Griezmann? Well, let's look this up real quick. Let's see. Okay, so these are the free agents right now, according to Transfer Market. So you have Rabiot, which is 30. He's valued at 35 million euros. He's a free transfer. He's 29 years old. That could be someone you could possibly get. That's like a guy that you would think would go to like Saudi, right? Because they'd offer a lot of money to get him. Memphis Depay is another player that I would love to see in MLS, maybe at like a Red Bulls or something like that. Andres Gomez was a player that I'd like to see. Anthony Martial would be a good player to come to MLS. I would love to see someone like him come to MLS. I mean, look at these guys. Look at all these players that are free transfers you could get right now. Good quality players would be good additions to MLS. Marco Royce, a player that was supposedly coming to the Galaxy, but that's been halted at the moment. There's some doubt that will get done at this point. I don't know what the holdup is with this at the moment, but that's not a certainty at this. That's been rumored for 2 months. And he still hasn't been signed. That's not a good. That's not a good sign for him coming to LA Galaxy. Like what's the holdup? There's been deals that have gotten done quicker than this one in shorter amount of time. I'll go back and look at a couple other guys. I think I saw one other guy that kind of piqued my interest. What about David De Gea? I mean, he would be a really good goalkeeper. How many MLS teams could use a goalkeeper? Look at Inter Miami. Drake Callender has been very inconsistent. David De Gea would be a great addition for them to play at Inter Miami. I don't think he's played. So he hasn't played soccer in a year. He has been out of soccer for an entire year. And his stock obviously is going down each month or each week that he's not playing for a team. So How much harder is it for MLS teams to bring in players with the Saudi overpaying now? In your opinion, a lot of missed opportunities and players could have been brought in to gain attraction to the league. Well, okay, I'll look at that real quick because there really hasn't been, and I said this numerous times, but because of the leagues or because of Copa America and uh, Euros, the transfer market has been delayed a month. So let's look and see what the Saudi League has done this summer. Let's see who they brought in because I don't know about you guys, but I don't recall as many big names coming to Saudi this summer as there was last summer. Last summer was crazy. Okay, let's see. Only new players 2024, 2025. Okay, let's share this. Okay, it says okay, so that's the value of the league. At first I thought, "Oh, damn, is that what they spent this year?" Okay. So Musa went for 60 million euros to Al Ittihad, or I think is how you pronounce it. I haven't gotten all the Saudi name pronunciations down. Bento went to Al Nasser for 18 million. See, look at this. This honestly, this is very underwhelming compared to what we saw a year ago. I mean, look at this. See, the well is dry, I think. Honestly, I mean, look at this. This is all they have this year. 11 signings. And that's not just one team. This is the league. Now, let's look at the 2023-2024 season, just comparison. Oh my God, look at the difference. Look at this. Look at how much they were spending last year compared to now. Look at the difference. Neymar, Malcolm, Otavio, Ruben Neves, Mitrovic, Fabinho, Savic, Mahrez, Mane. I mean, look at the difference of what the Saudi League has spent compared to last year to this year. I mean, this is last year's spending. This is insane. It's honestly unbelievable how little they spent. Now I'm curious about MLS. Let's see what they've done. Let's compare MLS last year to this year. Keep in mind, like I said, we're about 1 month behind because of the Copa America and Euros. We're about a month behind. Okay, let's see. Only new players. All right, let's share this. Okay. So we've went over this before, but this is the transfers this season. You know, Hugo Kuipers, 11 million euros. Gabriel Peck, 9.3 million euros. Pretty good, right? Spent quite a bit of money. Nothing crazy, but you know, not too bad either. Nothing compared to the Saudi league. Now let's look and see what they did. Well, it's so MLS is kind of weird because it's a calendar season. It's not you know the 23-24 season, 24-25. It's just 2020-23, the 2023 season, 2024 season. Let's look at the year before though. Let's see what they did last year spending wise. See, that's Cucho Hernandez. He came in 2022 in Evander, so it's a little wonky because of that. But it looks like MLS actually spent more last summer than they did this previous summer. Let's try 2024, 2025, see if that changes anything. Oh yeah. Okay, there's a difference right there. Okay, but look, see, that this is okay. So doing this the 2024, 2025, this is only summer signings, okay? So Atlanta spent 12 million euros on Miranchuk. I think Miranchuk is how you pronounce his name. Houston spent 9 million euros on Ponce. That's kind of crazy, honestly. Houston spent that kind of money. That's crazy. Austin spent 7 million euros on Osman Bukhari. New England spent 6.2 million euros on Lagoni. and Colorado spent 4.5 million on Navarro. Okay, look at this list, guys. Look at this list. Okay, so the top six clubs. If I told you the top six clubs had you guess, okay, who were the top six teams? All different. None of them are the same. Out of all the top six transfers spent this summer, to list the six teams who were the top six spenders, would you have guessed it was Atlanta, Houston, Austin, New England, Colorado, Minnesota? Would those have been your guesses? I mean, that would have never been in my guess. I don't even know if I would have guessed a single one of these teams, in all honesty. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. That's what. But just look at the number 10, 1.2 million. It really drops off. Do you see how slow the transfer market has been this summer because of these tournaments? It's really, really delayed a lot of things. So I think next week is really going to get crazy. I think you're going to see a lot of crazy movement next week on the transfer market. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. With Julian Alvarez going to Atletico, I see the Griezmann deal much more likely. Yeah, I think it's heading that direction. I think it's going to happen. What are the chances you think Ronaldo comes to MLS after his money making scheme? And yeah, Ronaldo's never coming to MLS. That ship is sailed. That will never happen. Wow, I heard Royce to LA Galaxy was a sure thing a month ago. Wonder what happened. I think there's issues at the league because he wants more money than what they're willing to offer him. I think he wants to make more than Max Tam. So I think there's some complications with that on like maybe doing some type of deal with him. I don't know. There's definitely a holdup though because it would have been signed already. He's a free transfer. Something's definitely up with Marco Royce. Even as an LAFC fan, I genuinely believe LA Galaxy front office is one of the worst considering how they are one of the few MLS teams who are known worldwide. They don't use that to their advantage. Yeah, but I think Hurt Gomez said that the LA Galaxy appeal is an illusion. The further you get away from the city, the bigger they get, but the closer you get to the city, the smaller the team is. De Gea won't go anywhere below top 5 level, sadly. I mean, at this point, does it even matter? He doesn't even play for the national team anymore. So why does he need to be in a top 5 league? He's 33 years old, which is really young for a goalkeeper still. He hasn't played for the national team since 2020. I don't understand why he wouldn't come to MLS or another league. 55 of you guys right now in the chat. Please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the little bell notification so you never miss a video. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. We just hit 4,000. Now we're on the road to 5,000. Hopefully we can hit that before the end of September. That's going to be the goal. So please make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. MLS could also get many South Americans taking into account how they got exposition at Copa America. Griezmann to LAFC, if he comes, so yeah. Atlanta always spend, so they're not a surprise. Atlanta is not the surprise. Also, Atlanta had $53 million they made this summer, so they better have spent, right? They better have spent that money. They can't, right now is not the time to get cheap. There've been a lot of angry fans if the Atlanta hadn't have spent. Atlanta has like 6 to 10 MLS top transfers all time. Yeah, I pulled up the list, but I'll pull it up again. Let's see. Let's see. Transfer records. I'm only going to do rivals, obviously. So Atlanta has 5 of the top 6 all-time transfer records. Almada, Martinez, Barco, Marinchuk, Araju. I thought it was Araujo, but it's like Araju, I think, is how it's pronounced in Portuguese. and then or not Hugo Kuipers, disregard that. Luis Araujo was the number 6 all time. So they've got 4 or 5 of the top 6 all time transfers in MLS history, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And think about this too. Only one of the guys panned out. Only one of them. Almada was pretty good. PT Martinez was a bust. Ezekiel Barco was a bust. Miranchuk, we don't know how good he's going to be, but Luis Araujo was a bust. So Almada, 4 or 5 of the top 6 transfer records, only one of them actually panned out, which is crazy to think about. Now let's look at this. Let's look at the sells. Let's look at the MLS transfer records for sold players. So Miguel Almiron sold for 24 million euros to Newcastle in the 18-19 season. I think it was the winner. Almada is number 2 at 19.5 million euros. Jean Duran is close to 17 million to Aston Villa. Very good player. Very, very good player. Very high on him. Pepe's number 4 at 16.36 million euros. Petrovic, who I think has elite potential as a goalkeeper. I wish he wasn't at Chelsea. Hopefully he gets an opportunity to shine. Damn shame he's at Chelsea right now. Sold him for 16 million to Chelsea last summer. PT Martinez, 16. Tati Castellanos. So if you look at all these these players sold, they've all been within the last 5 years. All the transfer, let's see, the last transfer that's on this list that wasn't the last 5 years was 15 years ago, was Josie Altidore, sold to Villarreal for 7.27 million euros. So, good God, look how many teams, how many times Chelsea's bought players in the top 10 or top transfers all time. And 2 of them are goalkeepers, which is crazy. And Gaga and Petrovic, crazy. But you can see that we're selling players for decent fees too. We're definitely selling players for more than we usually buy them, which I guess is a good sign. But Ronaldo can't step foot in the United States. Yeah, probably not. No way Royce is getting TAM. If he comes to MLS, Galaxy is cooking the books again. He was getting 7 million a few months ago. Yeah, I think there's an issue with that. I don't think that something's definitely up with that. I don't know what he's making, but I know that there's some discrepancies about what he's willing to take to come here. And so that's something to definitely keep an eye on. Outside of Miami, LA, New York, what other cities do you think are attractive destinations for big name European players? Here's another thing too. There's a lot of cities in Europe that aren't attractive. Like, is there really a destination city in England besides London? Like, there's no cities in England that everybody's just clamoring to move to. It's just about the brand of the league, and that's why they want to go there. I think once the league gets better in MLS, these small market teams that aren't as desirable to move to will be attractive to these teams as long as the league is of quality. That's the biggest problem right now, is the league isn't good enough for a player to go to Columbus, Ohio, a big name, or Denver, Colorado. We're just not at that level where the big name players are just going to go anywhere they can get a chance. Obviously, like you said, Miami, LA, New York, Orlando could be a big destination because Orlando's a very desirable place to live. Nashville's a very desirable place to live if they're willing to spend more money. The owner's cheap as hell, so that definitely doesn't go in their favor. I mean, there's so many desirable places to live in the United States. It's a very, it's a diverse place to live. A lot of different cultures, a lot of different people fit in here. De Gea's ego won't let him go below top 5 league, I believe. Well, he's not playing right now, so at a certain point, he's either going to retire or he's going to have to take a step down. We need Milwaukee and Buffalo to get a team. Buffalo, no, because Toronto's got a team. Milwaukee, probably not. Good to see someone covering MLS. Only a few people actually covering MLS. This is a great way to see the league grow. Yeah, I mean, that's what I said earlier. I'm not a fan of any team. I just try to cover it as neutrally as I can. and just hoping to help it grow in any way possible and give you guys coverage that you want to listen to. Hopefully, it keeps continuing to grow and the league gets better and this thing takes off one day because I love doing it. I try to be as unbiased as I can, and hopefully, you guys respect what I'm doing and value what I have to say. Do you think we'll see substantial rules changes that have positive effect on the league, or should I give up hope? Kai, I don't want to tell you something, get your hopes up. I've been burned before. Many of us have been burned before. It's a wait and see thing. I thought the rule changes would have happened by now, so I understand the frustration why they haven't yet. Um, I don't know, man. I think that maybe something could happen this winter. I heard maybe something can happen. Maybe like a fourth DP will finally come this summer, or I'm sorry, this winter, or some type of new rule. Uh, we'll see what happens. I wouldn't get your hopes up, but I wouldn't necessarily count it out. LAFC Le Football Club, yeah, Los Angeles French Club, right? And that what someone said on Twitter earlier. Isn't Nashville owned by the Greek brothers, basketball brothers? Yeah, the Antetokounmpo brothers. Yeah, they're minority owners in the team. It's actually owned by a guy named John Ingram, is the majority stake owner of Nashville SC, and he's not a big spender. Lunch special Geo says Las Vegas. Yes, yes, Las Vegas definitely needs an MLS team sooner than later. Would love to see a MLS team in Las Vegas. I think that's got to be the next expansion team after San Diego. And now that could be a huge destination for I think several players would want to play in Vegas. I don't know. I just think of like MLS when I think of like Vegas. I think of Mbappe in Vegas, which I know he played at Monaco, which I think Monaco is also like a kind of like a gambling city. So maybe that's like why there's a correlation or like I draw that comparison. Um, but yeah, Vegas definitely is a hot spot destination for teams or players to go to. 100%. MLS put all their content on Apple. They have absolutely no footprint on YouTube, not even Extra Time. Yeah, but I'm not a big fan of Extra Time. I think Extra Time is not a very good show. I think it's very dated, and I don't know about you guys. I'm not a big fan of Extra Time. I don't think it's that good. I think the Las Vegas Lights are joining MLS in the future. That or either Sacramento or Republic. San Jose needs a rival, and Northern Californians are hungry for a good team. LA versus Las Vegas. Yeah. All right, guys. There's 58 in the chat. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. We went an hour and 35 minutes. I appreciate you all for joining us tonight. Don't forget, I just recently partnered up with SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the official sponsor of MLS Moves. So make sure when you buy your tickets at SeatGeek, you use the promo code MLS Moves in all caps to get $20 off your first purchase. All caps, MLS Moves. And also share this with a friend. Like the video down below to help with the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell notification so you never miss any of the videos. And look out for tomorrow because I will be dropping my Leagues Cup round of 32 prediction. So be on the lookout for that. Should come out around 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you all. I love all you guys. Appreciate the support and all you guys coming through. And until next time, I will see you all soon.